We have Julian Quincy here, Head of Design. And Julian, what is it that makes a HSV? What should an HSV look like?
I think for me, an HSV should be firstly recognisable. There's no point doing an HSV that you can look through traffic and not see. An HSV's got to stand out within the marketplace, within the landscape of the road. Core to that would be the stance of the vehicle. All the engineers want the biggest, widest rubber, so we have rubber that fills out the arches. We want the biggest possible wheels. We do design our bumpers so the whole car sits very low to the ground. Building on that, we want a very distinctive front and rear end graphic to the vehicle.
Do you think since joining HSV that your own design ideals have changed to come in alignment with what a HSV should be?
Well, it's interesting that you work in Europe for 10 years and it's all about understatement, and I think you've got such a unique proposition over here. An HSV's got this massive V8 engine, it's got immense power, it's got poise, it's got handling, and I don't think you can do that by sort of refining the absolute, the nth degree of a radius.
When Julian first came from Europe, he started off in the European understatedness. And
you beat that out of him pretty quickly.
We tried to beat that out of him.
Now, you're going to take us through some of HSV's most prominent designs, so let's take a look.
Yeah, well, I guess it all started with the VL Group A there. As I understand it, this was not an exercise in styling. In fact, Phil will tell you later on that Holden weren't too keen on the look of this one, but this was very much an exercise in producing a tool to do a job.
It was to win Bathurst, that car, wasn't it?
Bathurst, and it did exactly that.
The story goes that somebody from Holden said, "That's a bit over the top, Tom, isn't it?" And of course he turned around and said, "Well, you want to win motor races, don't you?" Of course that car is now known as the Walkinshaw.
The Walkinshaw, yeah.
I think Maloo's a really interesting piece of design as well for the company. I think initially it probably started off as a utility and something of a tradesman might use on an almost daily basis, and it's almost become a fashion accessory as it's evolved through the years.
Yeah, it's become a two-door sports car, basically.
I think it's a terrific car. I think it's so Australian, it's such a unique vehicle.
I reckon that's the last one I've actually seen loaded up with tools, to be honest.
Yeah, now
that model.
One of the things I've actually seen a lot is Maloo owners that are tradesmen have a fantastic looking car and they have a fantastic looking trailer, and it's actually got the same Maloo wheels on the trailer. I think that's absolutely cool.
So next to the GDSR 1996, I think this was when Ian Callum started working for Tom and was involved with HSVs for the first time. So there's a guy that did some of the most beautiful Aston Martin designs of all time for me personally. And I think he really took HSV's identity and really developed it on, so it became very much a mark in its own right rather than an overlaid Holden.
When I was a youngster, I think I was about 21, 22, I just wanted to own one of those. And I was working as a driving instructor and someone came out to Sandown and let me do a couple of laps in them, and I just had a smile on my face because it's just a real raw muscle car and it looked like the race car.
I mean, this screams Craig Lowndes' 96 championship winning Commodore, doesn't it?
Yeah. And this is really, as Julian said about Ian Callum, this is really the start of the journey that the customer wanted us to take, which was, I want my car to look different. I don't want my car to look like anyone else's.
This is a great car.
I think Coupe 4 is where I came in actually, so...
Feel free to take that accolade.
It's an interesting car. It did start off as a show car. We had a luxury European look for the front grille there. We had an incredibly wide stance with the addition of the four-wheel drive system that we took from Holden. It's the first vehicle as well where we took that lower intake on the bumper and we cranked it so it started angling out the other way. We followed that up with the W427 concept car. So this really was a pre-runner to the W427 that we then put into production a year later.
And it's quite a subdued looking car for what it is under the skin. I mean, driving that thing, it's an animal.
Yes.
And it's pretty subdued to look at.
Well, I think there's a bit of Tom in that. I don't think Tom was one for looking at the car and wanting to be covered in badges. He was very vocal when he didn't like something. And I think this was going to carry his name, and we wanted to do something that was clean, business-like, and did the job of delivering. And I think that car did all of that. Latest generation E3 GDS, well, that's the baby. It's got such a strong graphic that's unmistakable in street traffic. Those DRLs really stand out.
Some people question why we did the front DRLs. mixture of was it a bit of bling or did we do it for road safety? I think we were just ahead of our time because now most cars have got them in Europe and you're beginning to see those flow into Australia.
I mean, this was the first Australian-built car that ran DRLs.
First car to have DRLs, first car to have LED tail lamps as well.
And so distinctive, I think, HSV, when you see one coming in the distance. And for me, Julian, that's the most aggressive HSV so far. That's the one that makes the statement.
And it goes back to the start of what Julian was saying, that it has to say scream HSV from 400 metres.
I think we upset a few people on the chat forums when it came out, so I hope,
Must be a success.
I hope I'm not still a target out there.
Now, we're going to introduce something new from HSV, 25th anniversary car. There's a lot of design cues from some of the previous cars we've talked about into this car.
I think this is really honing the absolute maximum out of D3 GDS. We spend a lot of time just picking out the perfect accent. You can see we've got a new accent colour that we use on the front shockwave graphic, the vector vents and the bonnet vents there. And that links in with the new alloy wheel, which is quite a piece of work. In the past, some of our alloys have weighed over 20 kilograms, and this wheel is actually under 12 kilograms for a front wheel.
It'll give you a job in the race team if you can shed that much sort of weight.
That's a big result.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Hard work.
And that's a great example of design helping engineering. I mean, the engineering guys would have loved it when you said, oh, we can shave all this weight out of the wheel.
Well, they had a target of 14 and we gave them 12 and they reckon they can feel the difference. Like the car feels lighter, more nimble, just with the lighter weight.
And another aspect that Julian's after is the open spoke. A performance car should have open spokes so that you can see the brakes. And you can see the brakes.
What excites you about the HSV design? I mean, from where it's come from to where it's headed, I mean, what excites you most about the brand?
Personally, what I think is quite special and unique about HSV is that when you look at some of our European competitors, they spend so much time concentrating on what each other are doing, and what we do is we create our own car and our own vision for what it should look like. When you're creating something from scratch, which is completely your own, people can feel that passion when they get into it, they can see the differences.
I get excited when Julian's done a really superb piece of work and he's withstood all the barrage of comments and improvement points that he gets from the committee that come in and criticise his work. He's amazingly robust. But I also get excited when other people come into our studio. And we had, before we launched VE, we had Tom Peters, who's a stylist with the Corvette team, just came and walked around the new E-Series that we were about to launch. And he said, wherever I stand, this car just looks at me as if it wants to eat me. And I think that's a fantastic quote.
Finally, without giving too much away, where's HSV headed in the future, from a design point of view? Don't give too much away.
I know. I might get the letter from Phil tomorrow. I think just everything that we've done, but better again to a different level. And you know, you're also excited about what's coming next, and you can't tell a single soul about what you're doing next, but it's going to be fantastic.
So Cam, you got to take some of these incredible cars out on the track. What was that like?
Yeah, it was a great day, GT. Pity you couldn't be there, actually, to give me a hand. But look, particularly, as I said, the GDSR was a car that I admired as a young kid, so to actually finally have a drive of that, and of course the new one, it was a great day.
So let's take a look at that now, and when we come back, we'll talk about the most important section of all, performance.